Alright, welcome back, and this is my review for House of a Thousand Corpses. Corpses? Corpse. Something that I love about the DVD, if you were to go and pick this up, is that it has an interactive Captain Spaulding intro. If you just leave it alone, he'll come out and he'll start saying really fun and weird things, and he'll tell you to go and kiss a dog's titties. Then he'll go and look at porn. In high school, I was a huge fan of Rob Zombie. So when I found out that he was making a full-fledged movie, I knew right off the bat that that was something that I was going to be into. And I was. The movie opens up at Captain Spaulding's Museum of Monsters and Madness, where you can also get gasoline and fried chicken, so that's cool. And this whole intro of the movie is probably my favorite thing about this movie. There's just something so sweet and nice about this intro with Captain Spaulding just shooting the shit with some random redneck friend. I love the whole museum part of this film. It's just fucking awesome. A couple of guys come in and they decide that they are going to rob Captain Spaulding. If you know anything about Captain Spaulding, you know that that is a terrible idea. And they don't make it out of it okay, giving us one of Captain Spaulding's best lines, and most of all, fuck you. The opening credits come on, and it immediately hits me as a child that since I am watching a Rob Zombie movie, there will probably be Rob Zombie music. And there was! House of a Thousand Corpses, the song is just as good as the fucking movie itself. When you hear that, you're just fucking, you're in there, you're ready, you want to see some fucked up shit happen. And that's what happens in this movie. They like to get fucked up and do fucked up shit. We see 4 people in a car, and they are pulling up to Captain Spaulding's Museum of Monsters and Madness. And in the car we have Dwight from The Office, Chad Hardwick from The Sexual Allegations, Denise, and we have some girl who I always thought kind of looked like Blossom. So they go inside to get some gas, and they stay for the Monsters and Madness. Captain Spaulding takes them on a cool little cruise where he tells them about Dr. Satan. Chad Hardwick's character is actually making a book about roadside things. So he wants to go and see where Dr. Satan was. He wants to go to his origin. Captain Spaulding writes them a map and sends them off. While going to the Dr. Satan tree, they see a hitchhiker on the road. Never pick up a hitchhiker. But this hitchhiker happens to be Baby. Ooh, Sherry Moon Zombie. And immediately she starts getting on the girl's nerves. They're driving a little bit in the car when all of a sudden a Rocky Horror Picture Show type flat happens to their car. Conveniently, Baby's house is just up the road and her brother can fix cars. I think we know where we're going from here. They get to Baby's house and shit gets elevated. Baby's family is a spirited group, to say the best, like having dinner while wearing masks, or putting on a talent show for everyone. And that is what happens. Until Baby goes on, and she does a sexy dance for Dwight. Dwight's girlfriend doesn't like that too much. The girl who looks like Blossom. She gets in Baby's face and is like, get the fuck off my man. So Baby decides that she's gonna cut a bitch. But instead, Baby's brother comes back and says that the car is fixed and they decide that they're gonna go. But it's bullshit! Because the car gets ambushed on their way out. Dwight gets out of the car, gets hit by a pipe, and the screen goes black. When it comes back, we see Dwight's girlfriend tied up to a chair, and Otis is having a gay old time with her. She's screaming for Dwight, she's screaming for her friends, she has been isolated, and Otis, being the cool guy that he is, he goes, you know what? You want to see Dwight so much? Let me show you. Pulls back the curtains, and there he is, Dwight on a platter, now a murdered merman, and Dwight's girlfriend cries. I should mention that Denise, Chad Hardwick's girlfriend, yeah, her dad is looking for her, and he's a cop. So he sends 2 cops to go look for them, since she never called to say that she got where she was going. People, call your parents. They worry. And these cops the whole movie are tracking them down. Eventually they get to Captain Spaulding's, and Captain Spaulding does the same thing, tells them where he sent them, and sends the cops off on their way. Meanwhile, Denise is tied up to a bed with Tiny, the big guy, and she's begging to be let go. And Tiny is kind of like, I don't really give a fuck about any of this stuff. And he just lets her go. So Denise says thank you, gets out of the bed, walks a couple feet, but Otis stops her, and he decides it is time to take this bitch to go meet Dr. Satan. But before that, we get to catch up with Chad Hardwick's character, where Baby is deciding that she wants to have some fun with him by playing a question game, where if he loses, he gets scalped. And he doesn't do well. The cops show up, and my second favorite scene in this movie ensues. There is a grand shootout where the family comes together and decides to kill a bunch of fucking cops. And the last scene, once they've killed all the cops, and Walter Goggins is in this movie, by the way, is on his knees, the movie just simmers in the most uncomfortable way for like a really long time. Remember They Live? That. And eventually Otis pulls the trigger and kills Walter Goggins. That is where, in my heart, this movie should have ended. But it doesn't! Somehow, Chad's character and Dwight's girlfriend both survive, and they get to meet Dr. Satan too. So Denise, Dwight's girlfriend, Chad Hardwick, all dressed in bunny suits for some reason. I never really understood why they were dressed in bunny suits. If you know, you tell me. And the family marches them off to meet Dr. Satan. But Dwight's girlfriend has had enough, and she decides that she's gonna fucking book it. And Baby takes off after her, and ultimately cuts a bitch. Chad Hardwick, losing blood from his head, is thrown into a casket with Denise, and they are thrown into a hole where I'm assuming the 1,000 corpses are. And some random old dude who's also dressed in a rabbit suit, but he just doesn't even care. What's with that old dude? Does anyone know? Once they're down there, Chad gets taken by water people or something, and we don't see him for a while, leaving us with Denise, who has to escape this fucked up version of Wonderland. Only the only way out is to get past Dr. Satan, who we see experimenting on Chad. I guess the water people do Dr. Satan's bidding, and that old guy's just a superhero. I don't know, he's fucking stronger than everybody. But Denise escapes and waves down the first car coming down the road, who just so happens to be Captain Spaulding. But just when you think that she's gotten out and it's okay, Otis pops out of the back and grabs her, and the movie ends. Things that I like about this movie. It is dirty, it is violent, but most of all, it's naughty. I watch this movie and there's still a sense that I'm not supposed to be watching this movie. I'm gonna get in trouble if someone knows that I'm watching this movie, and I love that about this film. Things that I don't like about this movie: it is a little bit slow in the third act. There's just, maybe it's because I'm so exhausted by everything that I've been put through up until this point. By the time this movie has to wrap up, I'm so drained. But ultimately, this is an awesome film, and if you haven't seen it already, what are you waiting for? Watch House of a Thousand Corpses, and watch all of Zombie's movies, because they're all pretty great. I do plan on doing Devil's Rejects after this, and then 3 from Hell when that comes out, so stick around and let me know what you think of House of a Thousand Corpses in the comments.